Back in the 1950s, there was a young lady named Florence Chadwick. And Florence Chadwick could swim. In fact, she was the first lady to swim the English Channel in both directions. She decided she wanted to do something that only two men had accomplished. She wanted to swim the 21-mile distance from the Catalina Islands to the California shore. So she went into training. And on July 4th, 1952, she made her quest for swimming dominance. Well, on that particular morning, there was something unusual. She put her feet in the water and she told the people around her, this water is bone-chilling cold, which is highly unusual for this part of the country. Also, a dense fog had rolled in. Nonetheless, Miss Chadwick decided to go for it. Took a couple of strokes and began to swim. Forgot to share this with you. On either side of Florence Chadwick were boats. In those boats were people with rifles and sticks for a couple of different reasons. Number one, just in case she got into trouble, they could go ahead and put her in the boats. But there was another challenge in the water that day: sharks. That's right, sharks. So history says that Florence, she swam and she swam and she swam. In fact, it says she swam for 15 hours. And then something happened. Florence made the sign. She says, look, I think I'm done. They said, Florence, you are so close, you're so close, you are so close. So she took a couple of more strokes and she says, look, I can't finish. Dejected, they pulled her into the boat, took her to shore and allowed her to decompress for about 2 hours. There was an interviewer there and he was about to ask her a question. And here's what she said before he could say anything. She says, I trained for this swim. I wasn't tired and I wasn't cold. Now, please pay attention to what she says next. She says, if I could have only seen the shoreline, I would have finished my swim. If I would have only seen the shoreline, I would have finished my swim. The interviewer asked Miss Chadwick, did you realize that you were just 800 meters from the shore? 800 meters from the shore, she had swam for 20.5 miles. So my dear friends, this begs the question, do you have your eyes on the shoreline? Or are you being distracted by the fog? And I ask you the question just one more time. Do you have your eyes on the shoreline? Or are you being distracted by the fog? Now that fog could be many things. Fog could be apprehension, self-doubt, how we feel physically. It could be technology. It could be many things. Do you have your eyes on the shoreline? Or are you being distracted by the fog? Well, I have good news. Just 2 months later, Florence gets back in the water and makes a second attempt. This time she completes the swim. Not only does she finish the swim, but she breaks the men's record by 2 hours. My dear friends, I ask the question one more time. Do we have our eyes on the shoreline, or are we being distracted by the fog?
My name is Charmas Lee, and I build champions.